Hey everybody! Here I am down here. We're working up high today. That's when I put my easel on the floor, it's too low. I put it up here and it's too high. So I hope you can see it. Today is Friday, February 25, 2022. So we're going to talk about how I decided how high I needed to draw the top of the waist for my elastic. I had several questions about that, so I'm going to tell you about that today. Then I had several of you ask me about this blouse that I wore the other day. I love this pattern. Love it. It goes together so fast, so easy, and it has that cowl that everybody notices and everybody likes. Hello, I like it, that's why I made it. Pardon me, my blouse keeps falling off my shoulders today. So this is Simplicity 1698, and I of course palmer and plushed it, which means I fixed the paper with the full bust adjustment, the sway back adjustment, the round back adjustment, and narrowed the top here because, as you can see, I have narrow shoulders and everything wants to fall off my shoulders. This one stays just fine if I'd be still for 2 seconds. So 1698 Simplicity, and it's the little blouse in the middle. You can see I have a square drawn around it. Love this pattern. Okay, so that's that pattern. All right, so elastic. You saw me make my PJ pants the other day using this pattern. It's also a New Look pattern, but I don't know if they have that anymore because McCall's bought New Look and now McCall steals their patterns and Franken signs them or whatever you call it. So this is, it's so simple, L9506. I got it at Walmart. So I made 2 pair of PJ pants, and if you recall, watch my last video. I did not want to add a separate waistband to put the elastic in, and the reason they had a separate waistband was because there was a pocket in it. There's a pocket right here. The pocket goes like this. Oops. That's how the pocket goes. Okay? And the pocket is sewn right down on the front, you can see it, with 2 rows of top stitching. See, like that. This is the pocket, how it shows on the front of the pant. And that's stitched down by itself so you can put your hand in the pocket. Well, I did not want to add a separate waistband. I wanted the pocket, but I didn't want a separate waistband. So I showed you how. I just finished the top of the pocket like the bottom and the side are finished. I just folded it in and I top stitched it to the pant. So the top of the pocket was finished. Yes, I know. I could have extended this pocket up like this so it would have folded into the waistband. Somebody pointed that out to me. I know that. But I did not want this extra fabric in my waistband. I have enough going on at my waist as it is, my friends. And I already had 2 layers of cotton fabric and a piece of elastic going around my waist. I didn't need anything else in there. So this is how I chose to finish it. And I don't have an eraser. Hold on. So you saw the elastic I used 1 inch wide. So I'm going to show you how you would figure out how much to extend the top of your pant if you were using 1 inch elastic. I've got the formula down here. 2 times the elastic, and I just have a note here plus an 1/8 inch turn, but I don't add an 1/8 inch to it. I'll tell you where I get that 1/8 inch. Plus your seam allowance. Add a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Unless there's already a seam allowance at the top of the pant. Very important. Pants patterns are usually curved at the top because there's a dart there, or there's a slight curve from side to side. Straighten that out. You're putting in straight elastic, you need a straight top to your pants. It's just going to take out 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, very, very tiny bit. So straighten out the top of the paper pattern. Then add your paper to the top on a straight top of the pattern. Does that make sense to you? So I've got 2 examples here. This pant pattern has a 5/8 inch seam allowance already in it. This pant pattern does not have a seam allowance already in it. We're going to put a 1 inch elastic in each one of those. So how do you think about that? You need 2 times the elastic width plus a seam allowance. So if your paper pant pattern already has a 5/8 inch seam allowance, you don't need it. It's already there. Okay? Here, there is no seam allowance already, so you're going to add the seam allowance. So for 1 inch elastic, here I've added 2 inches. Here I've added 2 5/8 inch. Okay? Does that make sense? So what I do is I go ahead and I put the piece of paper up there on my paper pattern. I add the paper. Then I put my elastic on it. I line it up with the waist. I flip it up and I figure out, okay, I'm going to be folding this right there. So what we're going to do is put a fold line here. Let me see, let's get a different color. We know our elastic is 1 inch up from the top of the pant. This is our waistline. So 1 inch above that, we want this elastic, right? So right here is our 1 inch line for our elastic. See here? See the elastic fits right there? And I'm playing with this in paper. I mean, I actually do this. I've sewn for 1,000 years, but I still test. In this one, we're going to draw 1 inch up from their seam allowance. Okay? So the waistline of this pattern is right here. Right here. The waistline of this pattern is right here. Your elastic is going to start at the waistline. Okay? So you have to determine where the waistline is. Draw it. Put colors. Get yourself some colored pens. You got to have them. So, in this case, here's your 1 inch, and your seam allowance. Here's your 1 inch, and your seam allowance. So what I do is I put my elastic on the material when I've got it sewn together and I've got the material there. I put my elastic, a test piece, on the top of the pant and I fold that down over. Let's play like this is it. So I put my elastic at the waist where it goes, then I fold that down over. This one's too wide. Just to make sure that I have at least a 1/2 inch left. You don't have to have a 5/8 inch seam allowance. You don't even need more than 3/8 for this, and I'll show you in the real pant. But I hope that makes sense for you. Okay? 1 inch plus 1 inch plus 5/8. 1 inch plus 1 inch. This goes down 1 inch plus 1 inch plus 5/8 was already there. And this is the kind of pattern I had for these PJ pants I just made. Let me get the pants off of Lucy and I'll show them to you. You can see the 1 inch elastic in there, and you can see that after I have serged, I always serge that raw edge, and after I folded that down over my 1 inch, and there's a little extra because, you know, you've got the thickness of the elastic too, then I sewed it down, and whatever was left is my seam allowance now, see? And like I said, there's plenty of it. You could have 3/8, you could have 1/4 inch there. But don't do that to yourself. Give yourself plenty of room. I ended up with 1/2 inch exactly. Here's the pocket that I did not make up higher and flip into the waist. I didn't want it there. It's up there in the front, and it didn't go inside where the elastic is, and that's the way I wanted it. So that's the pocket. I mean, it already shows at the bottom and at the side, so what difference does it make if it shows at the top too? I think it just goes with it. And again, this is the inside. Isn't that nice? And it goes very quickly. And if you end up with, you know, say you added too much and you got extra way down here. Just go serge it off. You'll figure it out. Just make sure you put too much and not too little. Yeah, that can happen. So I hope that makes sense. And somebody said that's not PJ pants, it's a lounge set. So I guess it is a lounge set. Did I show it to you on Lucy with the pink shirt? Hold on, I think I forgot to show it to you on Lucy with the pink shirt. Hold on. There she is. Lucy with the pink shirt on. Love the shirt. I could wear that just for every day. It's beautiful knit. It's a cotton knit. I don't know where I got it. If I knew where I got it, I would buy it in every single color right now. But I don't know where I got it. But oh my goodness, it's just a wonderful cotton and it turns out so good in a garment. Don't you think so? And what pattern is that? That's my Fit Nice system. Easiest top in the whole entire world. And I used the dolman sleeve for it. The dolman sleeve is on the back of the pattern. And you just draw it on. And then I take in quite a bit off that underneath part because I don't want bat wings under there. Plus I don't want you to be able to see clear across my chest through the armholes. So I reduce that quite a bit. But a lot of ladies have bigger arms and they need the bigger armhole in the sleeve. So Lucy and I have a kitty cat quilt to finish. I'm almost done. I think I'm going to get the borders on today, and maybe I will get it on the long arm. I thought of the funnest thing to do in the border just a while ago. I thought, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that before? So, gonna let you go for now. I'll be back. And remember, I'm recording what I'm doing on the kitty quilt. You just can't see it until after Viv sees it because it's a gift for her. And I want it to be a surprise. And I think Viv is even going to show it on her channel when she gets it. We'll see. She's got so much going on in her life, she doesn't even have time for a gift right now. All right, my friends. I'll be back someday.